Yeah, so he had a. I mean, we've actually already hit the 2 hour mark, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
Where so like the other canceled projects was something called Busing,
Mm-hmm.
which this was his sequel to Clerk. Well, this was not a sequel, but this was like this was his follow up to Clerks that he had initially like penned. He wrote a film called Busing for Hollywood Pictures, which was it was a Disney studio that is now not it's now defunct, so it doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it was basically clerks in a restaurant, which I guess is, I guess is essentially what the movie Waiting is basically clerks in a restaurant.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Clerks 2 is Clerks in a restaurant also,
yeah,
technically.
technically, but it was just called busing. So like like you're bussing tables, you're a busboy or whatever. So like I guess it would have had a similar feel to what Waiting is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was around. It was announced like '94, and it was intended to be part of the Viewest universe. It wasn't made, but at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, it was featured as a poster parodying the Clerks poster. So
Yeah.
he had like a little Easter egg to himself in there, and maybe a handful of other people, which is kind of funny. There was another one called Name, which was a follow up to Chasing Amy.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be part. It was going to star the same three people from Chasing Amy, and it wasn't a sequel. It was just going to be another movie.
Yeah.
And he says it was like it wasn't a sequel. I don't know if it was a prequel or if it was just like something that was just going to maybe like have all three of them just in
Yeah.
it, but not interact,
Yeah.
or like only some of them would, or like only like some of them would be in it and interact, but not all of them, or like not
Mm-hmm.
like the key people, because it. So I'm not sure because this was never made and there's not really a whole lot on it. He was said it was kind of porn bent for
Yes.
you know, and they wanted to do it, but it just didn't really happen. And no pun intended. But he wanted to do like a project about porn just for like whatever reason. He wanted to do like a commentary on porn, and that ended up happening with Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which is
Yeah.
not. Which is
It's not in the
it's not
Views
in the,
universe.
no it's not in the universe. It's a
No.
pretty funny movie, but it has nothing to do with the Viewisk universe.
Mm-hmm.
And he abandons, and so like Name he didn't do because he ended up doing Dogma instead, which I think was probably the right choice.
Yeah.
I would say. And there was another one called Clerk Sellout. So this was supposed to be an animated movie, which in one of the episodes, I think in the last episode of the Clerks animated series on the commentary on the DVD. So you can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch it tonight if you want. You could watch it right
Sure.
now. You could just shut me up and I'll drown out here. But he wanted it to go theatrical, like just a theatrical animated release.
Yeah.
Because he had hoped that it would, get an Academy Award for the best animated feature, and then he made plans to go direct to video with it, and it was going to be like it kind of waffled, or like maybe he didn't get the backing that he wanted, so like it was just going to go the way that it goes, and he was like, all right, well, as long as it gets released, I guess.
Yeah.
And then maybe it would have been better off because maybe like if he wanted to aim for like best animated feature, maybe the studio would have like been too far up his ass about it, and
Yeah.
like just had too much control, and it probably wouldn't have even like been what he originally intended, and then they probably
Yeah.
like were like, all right, fine, well, and he probably just was like, listen, I want to do what I want, and they were probably like, all right, fine, well then it's got to go direct to video because if you want this to be like Oscar worthy, then we're gonna have to really like micromanage this. And he was probably like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I would speculate that could be why the compromise was made. But it didn't happen anyway.
Yeah.
So the plot basically here, it says it was Dante and Randall that are making a movie about their lives at the Quick Stop. So it's a meta thing.
Yes.
which most of his movies are, especially here in the VS
Yeah.
universe.
Well, I think that's like I feel like that's what Clerks 3 is going to be. Is basically like a meta, like almost like an autobiographical film of like, you know, them making a movie about their lives at the Quick Stop, pretty much.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
probably what Clerks 3 is going to turn into.
Yeah, so they make their so the movie was going to be, you know, animated movie. Dante and Randall are making a movie about their lives at the Quick Stop, and that's about it. And I guess stuff happens. In the interview, Smith expanded on the delays surrounding the film. He said that when Harvey and Bob Weinstein left Miramax, owned at the time by the Walt Disney Company, the split was not completely amicable. The rights to the Clerks television series were still owned by Disney, who, as a result, were reluctant to work with the Weinstein Company, throwing the future of Clerks sellout into question. And at the 2017 Cornell Q&A...
2007.
2007, I'm sorry. Sorry, I guess every once in a while I get like random dyslexia. I don't know.
Everybody does.
I hope everybody does, or at least most people. Because if I'm all by my lonesome on this one, then I guess we gotta name. I guess we'll just have to name something Chris Butera disease, and I'll end up becoming famous on something that I didn't want. Very much like Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Lou Gehrig never wanted a disease named after him.
Well,
or anyone who had a disease. I'm pretty
it's
sure.
Like, have you ever seen it was like the Family Guy sketch where they were talking about like Lou? Oh, like they're saying like how like it sucks that Lou Gehrig had Lou Gehrig's disease or whatever, and it's like it turns out like he was like a mad scientist, and he's like, I'll call this disease Lou Gehrig's disease. And then he like drops like the friggin' like the beaker, and it like spills the poison on him, and he's like, well, it like goes to him in a wheelchair, and he's like.
I have seen that. I haven't seen Family Guy in like many years, but I do remember that. Yeah. So anyway, at the 2007 Cornell Q&A, well, now people know my last name. Well, damn it! But when we have a website,
you doxed yourself.
Yeah, I doxed myself. So here we go. This is me drowning everybody at 1:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the 20.
Well, they only know where you live too.
Well, they have an idea of where I live, so they can name like. I mean, that narrows it down a bit.
Yeah.
At the 2007 Cornell Q&A, Smith said, due to the Miramax Weinstein argument, "You will see a Jay and Silent Bob cartoon before Clerks sell out. Despite the fact that Sellout might not get made, Smith's new script for the long-awaited Clerks 3 will follow the original plot from the animated film." Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
So that gives us a window to it.